Hello, everybody.
Good evening. It's Sunday night. It's Satsang with John and Michelle.
Good to see you all on this beautiful Sunday night and on Women's Day. So it's a
There we
beautiful
are.
opportunity for us to celebrate the feminine, which is what we're going to do tonight.
That's right, yes. And the greatest feminine we have is Mother Earth, and she's being so well nourished today with the rain that we've had in Cape Town. It's so beautiful to have the rain. You know, after our few years of drought back then, we'll never complain about the rain now. We're so blessed to have this water coming down and nourishing Mother Earth. Yes, and happy women to all the ladies out there. You are so blessed in the world. You're so needed in the world, and maybe you're not honoured in the way that you could be honoured. But I think the world is changing, and there is a shift. And I personally believe that what's wrong with the world is not enough feminine energy, too much of the masculine energy. We're going to talk about those two energies tonight, and we've all got them within us.
Yeah. Guys, too, they don't get away with not having feminine energy.
Yep, that's
But
right.
the world is pretty much a masculine-dominated society, so not men, masculine.
Yeah, we seem to honour the doing instead of the being. So we'll look at that. We'll look at that tonight. So welcome all those who are giving up an hour of their time to be with us this evening. We love the community. We feel the energy. You know, we might not be with you in physical presence, but we're definitely there in energetic presence, in consciousness presence, and we're definitely connecting with you in love.
Yeah.
So welcome. Hello to all those and who
Thanks.
come and support us every week in the work, and yeah, we love doing it. Yeah, we love being here with you.
Thank you, everybody.
So I think we're going to start this evening as we normally do with a little centering meditation. So if you'd like to just gently close your eyes and just center yourselves in the here and now. Shall we do that?
Yep. Thank you, John.
So settling down into the chair or the seat that you're sitting on or the bed that you're lying on, just become aware of this evening. Become aware of the 5 senses that you have that directly connect you with this evening. You have listening, you have touch, you have taste, you have the vision. You also have the feeling, the inner feeling. Become aware of the temperature of the air on your cheeks. Let's feel that. Let's feel the in-breath coming up through our nostrils into our body. Let's feel the chair that we're sitting on. Let's feel our feet on the floor. And let's feel our hands where they're resting right now. This feeling is a feminine energy. It's a receptive energy. And let's hold this energy of feeling, of awareness. And let's let go of all other times and all other places and just be here now. Fully aligned with presence, with life. The life that animates your body, it allows you to move. It facilitates your heart beating. The breath, the breathing, the digestion of your food, the transportation of the oxygen from your lungs to every cell in your body. That's all done by life. And when we surrender to that energy, surrendering is a feminine energy. When we surrender to life, our body works far better. We become relaxed. We become quiet and still. More at ease, more at peace. Our heart opens and we connect to the world around us through love instead of anxiety or fear. This is all a surrendering process. Listening is a surrendering process. And right now, just see if you can hear the farthest, the faintest sound in your environment. And as you listen, you realize that you have to become very still, very quiet, very surrendered to pick up that sound. Without the labeling, without the judging, just perceive the sound. And bring your awareness to your breath and your breathing, and let's take a deep breath in. And then we surrender to the out-breath. We release and relax and surrender with a long, long, long out-breath. Yes, we take the in-breath again, which is a level of doing, and then the long out-breath, which is the surrendering, the letting go, that aligns us with life in this moment. Take another deep breath in, right down to your belly button, and then pull it down to your feet. And then with the out-breath, the long out-breath, relax your shoulders and your neck muscles. And just center yourselves fully into your body. Just surrender down into your body and into the present moment. Still aware of the breath, but not controlling it. Just becoming aware of that natural rhythm of life that breathes you, that beats your heart. That will actually take care of everything more effectively and efficiently than the human doing you perceive yourselves to be. In this quiet space of surrenderedness, we find so much of real value. We can call it peace. We can call it ease. We can call it stillness. We can call it goodness. You can call it God if you wish. Just relax any worry lines on your forehead, any wrinkles. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your torso. Relax your spine and your legs. Relax your jaw. Let any tension go. Relax your tongue. And surrender completely to life in this moment. And now take a deep breath in, blowing your tummy up like a big ball. And then a lovely, delicious, long sigh out. Let it go and gently open your eyes. And once again, as you open your eyes, just feel what you feel like in this moment. How does your body feel right now? You feel more relaxed, more at peace, more at ease. This is the gift of the feminine energy. the receptive energy, the surrendered energy. And we've all got that within us. We didn't have to go and get it. We just had to align ourselves with it. To be aligned with life, to be one with life. That's the acronym for OWL, one with life. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for being with us on our Sunday night satsang. So tonight we're going to be looking at the feminine energy, and not the female energy, although females tend to carry a lot of the feminine energy generally. But we're going to be looking at the feminine energy, and we're going to be honouring that. So thank you.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, and I hope you had a good Women's Day, and hopefully you'll extend it to tomorrow as well, because that's a holiday. So we might as well have 2 Women's Days, why not?
Now my opinion is we have Women's Day 365 days of the year, 364 days of the year.
No. But today I pulled a card which is quite interesting because astrologically we have Venus, which is the feminine planet. We've got 2 feminine planets. The moon, although the moon's not a planet, it's a luminary, but we call it a planet. So the moon is a feminine planet and Venus is the other one. And Venus has just moved into Cancer, which is a watery, feminine, very open, very sensitive sign. And this morning, when John and I were chatting and talking about tonight, I decided to pull a card, and I pulled it out of the Divine Feminine pack, and I pulled this beautiful card called Hestia, and I have put it on my page so you can have a look at that. She's the goddess of sanctuary. And the message, and I'm going to read you a little bit from the card because it really kind of sums this up. No matter where I am home. The most sacred sanctuary is found within me. And John and I have been kind of going on about that for a good few months now, about finding your home within yourself. And that's really the feminine energy. And so the Hestia showed up perfectly this morning. So she was an ancient Greek goddess of the hearth. She represents warmth, protection and sanctuary that we feel when we know we are home. Her name translates as fireplace or altar. So it's interesting as well because we have a lot of fiery energy around now. The sun's in Leo, we've got Aries energy, and we've got a lot of earth energy. And that all kind of needs to be balanced with, I would say, a watery, gentle, but strong feminine energy. So Hestia is known for her calm, abiding presence and her tremendous kindness. In ancient Greek culture, Hestia is the divine personification of the sacred fire that sits at the center of someone's home, as well as in the center of every town and village. She would receive the first and last sacrifices of each day. With the establishment of a new village, the flame of Hestia's public hearth in the mother city would be carried to the new home. Hestia is the fire that grounds us, the hearth we can gather around to stop our wandering. Hestia is an emblem of the warmth, safety and nourishment of being in community. She represents that tangible and yet unseen connection between all our loved ones. She's the calm, abiding presence that can only be found within. When your soul selects this card, so that's all for all of you, Hestia created the concept of sanctuary. It's considered a sacred obligation to shelter and protect those in need. She wants us to seek those situations that allow us to feel a sense of being home, or she wants us to create that form of sanctuary for someone else. Of all the wild and crazy, adventurous Greek gods and goddesses, Hestia is the most drama-free. She's the one who can be counted on, the one who fosters community and provides the stability of food and warmth and shelter when everything else is coming undone. So it's that holding, nurturing space that she provides. She's your grandmother's goddess. She's the energy that whispers for you to just get cozy. Hestia wants you to be 1,000 leagues easier on yourself. Put a blanket over your body curl up with hot tea. Sit before the fire of all that you've accomplished and give your mind a break from all that you ask of yourself. Hestia wants you to let kindness pervade your thoughts. She wants you to light a small fire in the center of yourself and feel safe in calling your body home. She wants you to be able to seek sanctuary within. She wants you to come home to yourself and to give yourself the love that you effortlessly offer others. Hestia is the call to become the calm harbor for your beautiful soul to thrive. The soul voice meditation is, am I a safe place to be? That's a beautiful meditation. Am I a safe place to be? And again, the intention. No matter where I am home. The most sacred sanctuary is found within me. So I think she was a real gift this morning when she showed up, because it's got a very gentle energy, gentle but strong. There's fire there, there's a holding of that fire, there's a sacred fire, but it's not brandishing swords and trying to conquer the world, it's holding a space, which is that beautiful, beautiful feminine, very strong feminine energy. And I think a lot of people get feminine energy confused with weakness. It's by no means weak. It's in fact probably some of the strongest energy you get from just being in a place of being, in a place of receptivity. So we just thought that she was perfect for today. Beautiful balancing energy, and she ties in so well with this Venus in Cancer, and Venus in Cancer will be there until the 7th of September, bringing in that beautiful, gentle, calming energy amidst all this chaos. And we've got a lot of earth at the moment, a lot of fire. And what do we do to calm those? Water. So water nourishes earth and it calms fire. So water, actually drinking water, pouring a bath of hot, beautiful hot bath if you've got one, putting some bubbles in, some music, a candle. Ask yourself when you last did that, and if you didn't do it regularly or you haven't done it recently, maybe ask yourself if you can do that for yourself. So water, engaging in water, walking next to water, feet in water, feeling water, bringing water into your meditations will actually help you to hold that beautiful space. Yeah.
It's so interesting there, that the final affirmation there on finding that home within you, that coming back is that feminine energy. Yeah. The outgoing energy is the masculine energy, the doing energy. We've all got doing within us. And sadly, we tend to define ourselves by our masculine energy. When you meet someone, you ask them, who are you? What do you do? And it's all about achievement. It's all about accomplishment. That's the masculine energy. And we define each other by the masculine energy. And that's great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with achievement and doing. It's really good. But we tend to forget the feminine aspect, which is the home, coming back to find meaning. The home is where you find meaning in life. I mean, ultimately, your doing energy is to provide for the home, is it not? It's to go out and do, and then to come back and rest. And that's where you find your real life purpose, is in that rest. It's in that space of love, nurturing, ease, peace. And the world doesn't really value that. And the reason is because we run by money. And you can't really make money in peace or ease, but you make money in doing. And so we tend to worship money, we tend to worship, doing. And most people, when they define themselves and value themselves, they value themselves as human doings. And we're not, we're human beings, and it's to come back. And today we're really celebrating that. And I know that it is Women's Day. And as such, we're not celebrating necessarily the feminine energy, but obviously the woman represents at a physical level that feminine energy. Although, as I said earlier, we've got both within us. You can be a high achiever, be a woman, be a high achiever, but if you lose your feminine, you lose everything. The feminine is a soft, it's a surrender, it's the coming back. You know, the masculine is that fierce, outgoing energy, the sword that goes and cuts, goes and hunts. But the feminine energy is the one that holds, gives you purpose in life.
Yeah, and you know, for those of us who have been in business, you know, as women, obviously men in business, women in business, but very often when you're in business, it's not valued, it's very often not valued, the being part of you, you know, or the emotional part, the feeling part is not valued at all. So many of us, and I know in my younger years definitely, I just put that aside, you know, because it wasn't helpful. And then it took me a long time to actually break those walls down again, and what I realized is that hard-hitting kind of masculine energy is good in short bursts if you need to actually achieve something, but you've got to find balance. And I don't know how many people come to me as clients and they are just about burnt out or at the verge of burnout. And what's burnout? Burnout's not filling our tanks up. So it's just, it's doing all the time and not filling them up again. So there's nothing wrong with doing. I mean, we would not be here if it wasn't for doing. There's nothing wrong with the masculine. It's essential. But to do continually without being, and without those breaks in between, and without the nourishing and the nurturing, which is what the feminine holds for us, it's just, life just becomes colorless and dry. It's like the earth without water. You know, nothing much is going to grow. That's what it feels like. It feels hard and cracked and just depleted. So I really think that this year, and it's interesting that, you know, a lot of us have been more homebound. I mean, we just have the last 4 or 5 months. So in that place, we just ask ourselves whether we've actually allowed ourselves more time to be, and more time to replenish those tanks. And I've said before, and we've said before, I heard that beautiful saying, you know, that rather than give from your cup, give from your saucer. And many of us give from the cup, men and women, until the cup's empty and we're empty and we're done. And then we ain't got nothing left to give. Then if somebody wants something, we just say, no, I'm done, haven't got anything. So because we've given everything out. So it's to actually be that nurturing space for ourselves as well as others. And to replenish those tanks and not to feel guilty about it. I don't know how many times people say, no, I haven't got the time for that. No, you haven't got time to have a bath and light a candle. Why? Why? You should have. And if you haven't, then you need to rearrange stuff so that you do have 10 minutes or 15 minutes to do that.
Yeah, well, the reason we say we don't have the time is because we don't honor that feminine aspect. Because whatever you honor, whatever you value, you will put higher up your list of your hierarchy of where you're going to focus your energy. And we tend to focus our energy on doing this. You know, when we're going to bed at night, we want to think of, did we have a good day? Well, it's how much did I do today? Not how much did I be today? I mean, we don't
say the internet didn't work, so I could just be.
Yeah.
The internet didn't work, so I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Do.
Yeah.
And then we chastise ourselves or get irritated because we had more being time, but we filled it with trying to do more. So we're always trying to fill that empty time, the downtime, with things to do.
And if we can't do that, we think.
Then we're
generating this another doingness in our head.
So it's quite interesting to see, how sometimes uncomfortable we can be with being.
Yeah, and that's the feminine side. Are we uncomfortable with the feminine side?
Am I safe? What did she say here? Am I safe? Am I a safe place to be?
Am I a safe place to be?
So it's like, can I just be here now with myself in this place? Can I allow whatever needs to come up?
Yeah.
And that could be anything. Because very often when we've been doing for so long, we actually, when we do have time to just be, we get flooded with emotion. And then it's, oh, I don't want to feel that. So let's just keep doing. Let's keep getting things done and ticked off the list. Because at least that makes me feel good about myself. But then when we eventually just fall down because it's just too much doing, too much masculine. So it's really just balancing those two. You know, the masculine's the outward, the feminine's the inward. I see the feminine as like the chalice or the holder of the flame. You know, without the holder, there isn't a flame. And vice versa. So you need both, but you've got to balance them. And our world is sincerely out of balance.
Yeah.
And I think on the positive side of this whole event that we've been experiencing, there has been the opportunity to bring the planet back into balance a bit and ourselves back into balance a bit. But it's interesting to see that a lot of people haven't done that because they've just filled those times with more busyness in other areas.
Yeah, that's true. Because it's an addiction, you know, as Michelle said. We don't want to feel what needs to be felt. And in order to connect with your feminine side, you're going to feel that. Yeah. And you need to feel that because feeling is healing. And this year is a massive healing process going on planet Earth. Generally we medicate away feeling. We medicate it with outside distraction, with work, with sport, with religion and politics and all of that. And we get caught up in that. Even thinking is another addiction, as we mentioned. And it distracts us because we don't want to feel. We don't want to connect with that feminine energy within us. And yet the feminine energy gives us the purpose and the real value in life. You know, the masculine energy being the doing energy, for example, it relates to this card, is that it's the building, it's the going out and building. So we build a house. And the masculine energy can plan a house and build a house. You know, it can go and cut the bricks or cut the stone and put it all together and make the house. But that house isn't a home. What we have to have is the feminine energy that transforms that structure which the masculine built, the doing energy, and it's the feminine that gives it the value of the home, furnishes it, puts artistic ornaments up. It brings a softness. You have the brick and the mortar is hard energy. But the feminine brings a softness to the home. And I mean, from a female point of view, there are so many females trying to be masculine. So they're hard. And there's no softness in them. So the homes become hard because there's no softness in there. And the males, males have been programmed, don't connect with those feelings. So they become hard. They become disconnected from their feelings. And there's a hardness. And that hardness plays out in the world. And we have these mad cultures, mad economic systems, mad corporations that worship money, worship wealth and doing this. And that isn't going to provide humanity with any salvation. And this year, we've spoken about it before, is a reset year. It's when we reset. And I think the reset point is the coming back home. And it's also interesting there because I've spoken before, when I was 5, I had a near-death experience. And for most of my life, I wanted to go home. Where I didn't know where home was, but I knew it was out there somewhere. I wanted to go home. And in fact, if someone said to me, John, you want to go home, I'd tear up because that was the yearning in my heart to go home. And I sort of presumed and projected it to a place out there somewhere. But that card says it all. Home is here. Yeah. And are you willing to come home? Are you willing to come back here? Now this is love. Are you willing to come back to love? Love is a surrendered state. It's an allowing state. It's a vulnerable state. The feminine energy is a vulnerable state. And so many of us have put these barriers around us to protect us from this vulnerableness. We don't want vulnerableness. So we put these prison walls around us, this harshness, this hardness. You can see it in people's faces. And I believe that that needs to dissolve now, because we have a choice to make, and the choice right now, which we really need to make individually and collectively, is between false evidence appearing real. I am what I do, I am what I have, and I am what other people think of me, and that's all masculine energy, or love. And love is the coming backness. I'm not saying that love is a feminine energy, it's not, but it's through the feminine, through that receptive energies, through the surrendered energy, that we come back to love. Love is neither male nor female. Nothing that's in the vertical plane, you've heard me speak about that quite a lot. Nothing in the vertical plane is polarized into feminine or masculine. Peace is not masculine or feminine. Presence is not masculine or feminine, not positive nor negative. It's an isness, and love is that isness. It's the balance. It's the balance. But we can use the feminine energy to come back to balance if we have too much masculine energy. I hope this makes sense to you. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, send us some hearts. We love to connect with you. It also helps boost the reach of this video, and we really like sharing this with the world. So the more comments we get, the more likes we get, the more the video goes out into the world. And we like you sharing it as well. That's great.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people that, two things, that when we do workshops, it's always fascinating for me to see people arriving and people leaving a few days later, especially retreats where you've got 3 or 4 days or 5 days. They're completely different. And what's happened is all the layers have been shed. All the harshness and the brittleness and the holding and the protection just drop away. As soon as they know they're in a safe place, that they're actually able to drop all those defenses, people start to glow and shine and connect. It makes me want to cry. I do cry, because it's so beautiful, and nobody's done anything. They've just felt safe enough to just be, and the barriers and boundaries have gone. And so many times people will say to me, "No, but I can't drop my barrier. I can't drop my boundaries. I've been hurt before. No, I won't do that again." Well, that's hurting you more, because it pushes people away. So you've got like a big fat wall around you. So it's to actually get rid of that wall and to be vulnerable. And yeah, you might get hurt, but you're going to get hurt with the wall around you too. More so, because you're going to be alone and alienated and brittle and hard and feeling that you can't let anybody in. So it's this whole thing about, I can't be vulnerable because I might get hurt is not true at all. But so many people say it, or when I say to somebody, do you know how to nurture yourself? How well do you nurture yourself? Some people, especially women, look at me and say, "I've got no idea how to nurture myself."
It's someone else's job to nurture me, though.
Yeah, maybe I'd like to be nurtured by somebody else, or I nurture other people. So I give to other people, but nurturing myself is not something that I'm familiar with, which is quite interesting. Because, if you get a plant, you've got to water the thing, and you have to feed it, and it's got to get sunlight, and we're the same. So what is this thing about we can't nurture ourselves because it's selfish? I've heard lots of people say that too. No, I can't take time out for myself, It's too self-absorbed. So we've got these messages that self-nurturing is self-absorption. I don't know where that came from. Or taking time out is selfish. I don't know where that came from. But it's something that's around. What are you doing lying there? Why aren't you doing something? A lot of us have been brought up like that. I know I was. When we were chilling at home, it was like, why are you just sitting there? Go and clean your cupboards or do something useful. And then that gives you that sense that, I'll be better off doing something useful, at which point I will then be accepted and loved. So what do? We land up doing, because that's the way we get acceptance.
And so remember, the people that taught us that were people in pain.
That's right.
They were looking for love. They were looking for acceptance. And they bought into the program that only have value through the masculine side, through the doing side. And they then passed that on to you. They gave you their pain. And now's the time to dissolve that. Now's the time to heal that so that we don't pass it on to future generations. And it's interesting because the place that you can never be hurt, the place of home, is the place of presence. And it's to come back to that place of presence. It's only when you're not present that you experience suffering. When you are present, there's sensations, yes, but no suffering. So come back home. Home is here and now, in this moment. Presence, it's in the vertical plane. That's presence. Neither polarized, positive nor negative, masculine nor feminine. It's just an isness in this moment.
And out of that presence, out of that feminine place, comes the ability to act. So it's not as if you just sit there. You know, feminine has the ability to. The feminine, for me, is the earth. It's the ground. It's that nourishing that ground, so that when you plant those seeds, they're going to grow. So that beingness, that quietness, that creativity, that gives rise to things that actually then get manifested in the world. It very often comes from that feminine place. So in nature, when they plant crops, and then if you're a good farmer, not a farmer, but if you're a good farmer, you let the soil stand fallow for a season so that it replenishes itself before you plant another crop. Now, do we do that? We don't replenish ourselves. Very often we don't. We go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then we wonder why we're not really performing at our maximum, because our ground is depleted. It hasn't been renewed, it hasn't been refreshed, it hasn't been nurtured. So this is all about nurturing.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that's what celebrating the feminine is. And it goes way beyond celebrating women, although today is a day where we celebrate women, and I love women, and women are amazing. But it is celebrating the feminine, that this is really what we're talking about tonight. And that's with all of us.
And it's interesting because the card that Michelle pulled, Hestia, is from the Greek mythology. And they had 7 aspects of the feminine power. 7 aspects. And it is power. There's a huge power in that. There's a power. This is the hearth, the fire, the centeredness of a family, of a home. And the other aspects of feminine power are things like art and beauty. Science is also feminine in their mythology. Science was also that, and the sensual side, the sexual side, was a feminine as well. So we had those as well, and they celebrated 7 different aspects of that feminine energy. In our culture, we don't do that. We don't honor that creative space that the feminine energy allows us to enter. It's all about doing. It's all about the harshness. It's about, the masculine energy is an energy of separation. That's what it is. Where the feminine energy is more holding, coming back to. And so the way, I picture it is that in the beginning, in the East, they talk about Shiva and Shakti. And the Shiva is the unconditioned consciousness. The Shakti is that feminine that's birthed by that. And then from that comes the masculine. From that comes the masculine. So when we're in the womb, for example, we all start out as female, as feminine. And then the masculine is an extension, excuse the pun, of that feminine. We extend out of the feminine. But in order to come back to that holding place, we also need to come back through the feminine. Now, we can wait for the end of our life maybe to do that, but I would suggest we do it on a regular basis, maybe even a daily basis. We have a time of moving out into the world, and then a time of coming back to the sacredness, because the feminine is I always say, is the ear of God. So we need to come back to listen to God in the quiet space, perhaps by the hearth, and then move back out again, having been recharged with that reconnection to spirit. And from the energies from a sexual point of view, and I've spoken about this before, the male is devoid of the direct connection with the divine. He needs to connect, or the masculine needs to connect through the feminine to get back to the divine. And that is at the core of it is the sacredness of the sexual act. It's the masculine coming back into the feminine to connect with the divine. We don't honor that. We don't even know that is the process. It's a rebalancing so that the outgoing energy can be more whole, more connected with the divine energy of inclusiveness instead of exclusiveness, instead of competition gone mad. You start to do your doingness, but with a greater sense of community. And that is what we as the masculine energy can gain from the feminine energy. It's that process, which is really important. And as I said, this year I believe is a balancing point. It's a coming back to balance. And it is the balance between the yin and the yang, between the outgoing and the coming back energy, between the doing energy and the receiving and the holding energy.
And the more we can do that, the more we can do that, the more we send that energy out. So we're sending, the more balance we can find, as opposed to finding it selfish or self-absorbed, the more we can find balance in ourselves, the more our energy is balanced, the more that gets radiated out into the world and starts to balance the energy, because we're all energetic. So we've got a very important role. So sometimes just being is the most important thing that you can do. That's it. Not achieving anything out in the world for a little while is sometimes the best thing that you can possibly do. If you can, and it's interesting to just see where the guilt comes in, because it's huge. Why am I lying here doing nothing when I could be doing that? And there's a time for that. And the time will come, the doingness comes from the beingness. So when you've refreshed yourself, then you're full of beings to actually go and do those things.
Yeah, it's not a chore
As
anymore.
opposed
The doingness
to dragging
becomes
yourself.
doingness then becomes a joy. It becomes an adventure, an adventure of creativity out in the world. But we have been programmed, and we've been programmed for control, and that control is to disconnect us from the feminine. The feminine is a very threatening energy. I mean, one of the other aspects of the feminine in Greek mythology is the connection to nature. The feminine is the reconnection to nature. And the masculine mind, the masculine energy will dominate nature. But the feminine will reconnect and commune with nature. So that's another aspect of that. But I believe we have been almost dehumanized with the masculine energy. We've been controlled and manipulated through fear, through separation. And we bought into that. We don't value our feminine energy. We don't value beingness, as Michelle said. We value doingness, because that's what we've been programmed to believe. I mean, I know many, many women today, if you're a stay-at-home mum, well, there's no value in that. I know I need to be out. I need to be, a career. Then I'm going to have value. That is just so wrong. That is just not true at all. To value the holding energy, because that is closer to the divine than the doing energy. It's great to do. That's great. I mean, that's what we're here for, to express ourselves in the creative doing. But so much of doing is not creative. It's not creative as well. It's not heart-centered at all. We've lost the feminine aspect in that. And it becomes manipulative. It becomes self-serving. I mean, to a certain degree, it might be self-individually or self-culturally or self-religiously, but it's self-serving. And that's not the divine plan, I don't believe. I believe the divine plan is for us to celebrate our connectiveness through our uniqueness, to never lose sight of the interconnectedness of everything.
And we can bring that into our interactions with other people, I mean, one of the main things I learned at Findhorn was, in Scotland, was working in community, was every single time we did a job, we were about to actually meet as a group to do something, or we were meeting as a group to make some art or to talk or whatever we did, we always tuned in first. So it's a quick tune in. So it was a tune-in. It was very much like John just did, or whatever you did. But we would get together, whether it was 3 of us or 10 of us or 100 of us, and we'd all tune in. And then if it was a little group, you'd break into your little groups and you would do a little check-in. And you'd say, okay, going around the group, how do you feel today? That's it. And within a few sentences, you would describe how you feel. I feel fantastic, just went for a run around the block. I feel terrible, got a headache. I feel awful, had a fight with my husband. You go around the group like that, everybody knows where everybody's at. And then the doingness happens out of that. Because nobody judges anybody. Nobody assumes anything. So if the guy that had the headache is grumpy, well, you know, he's got a headache, he's grumpy. You're going to just give him some light something to do. You know, the guy who ran around the block, he's going to get the main stuff that he's going to take the load because he can. And I mean, for 3 months we worked in a kitchen, which is not my best place at the best of times. And there was like cooking for 200-300 people at a time. It's a lot. There wasn't a single argument in 3 months, ever. And none of us were chefs. Now, I mean, that's kind of unheard of, where you beating, you know, cooking against the clock. But it was because, it was because of that. We'd sit and we'd light a candle and we would just do this little check-in. It would take 5 minutes. And that would set the scene for the next 5 hours. You know, so all of us can do that in our communities.
Yeah, and if you run companies or run businesses, if you introduce that, connecting in with that feminine energy, how do you feel? I mean, that's something that doesn't really get brought up in a business meeting. How do you feel? Yeah. It's not about that at all. And yet that will connect the group. And it does. And then it brings greater understanding. And communication is far more enhanced when you have a level of understanding, a level of empathy in that situation. And ultimately, at the end of your life, it's not about doing, it's about being. Yeah. It's about being. That's the true meaning of life. And if you would like a greater sense of purpose in your life, if you would like a greater sense of joy and peace and fulfillment in your life, then we would like to invite you on a journey with us. Starting tomorrow night, we have a 13-week journey. We've run 2 already, or 1 still in progress. But we have a brand new one starting tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on Zoom. If you can't make it tomorrow night, then you can catch up the following day because they're recorded. And then on Tuesday, we open up your week's work. So we have 13 weeks of spiritual, of psychological, and of connecting with your true self. 13 modules which we have to explore, and we start tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. The first week you can travel with us free of charge, and we urge you to please come on board for at least the first week. It doesn't cost you a cent. Yeah,
and you'll enjoy it even if you don't join us for the full thing. So
yeah, you'll get a lot out of that first week. And then some good news: we're going to sponsor 2 people for the whole journey. So we will talk about that tomorrow night. So don't if you haven't got money and you would like to do the whole journey, come on board for the first week, and we will tell you how you can journey with us the full 13 weeks at no charge at all. So that's at 7 o'clock tomorrow, Zoom. You would need to go and register on our website, which is journeysofawakening.com. Journeysofawakening.com, and this is Journey to Freedom, and it's number 3. So you've got to register for Journey to Freedom, number 3, and you can register online at journeysofawakening.com.
Scroll down to the bottom of the front page.
Yeah, scroll all the way down and you see the different options to register. So do join us tomorrow night. And
it's really lovely.
I say if you can't connect on the Zoom meetings, which we're going to have every Monday night, then that's fine. They are recorded and you can catch up. But in the actual in the week's work, you get a whole teaching video with us. A teaching video, and you get meditation, you
journal.
Get a beautiful journal with 5 modules in each week.
Creative stuff.
I'll get you in contact with your right brain, your connective brain. We give you that opportunity as well. And you can have a look on the home page at the 13 modules, what they cover. and they do cover a broad spectrum of life's experience, important chapters in our lives.
Yeah. Lovely.
So we look forward to you being with us on that 13-week journey. We've seen amazing transformations in the people who have journeyed with us so far. So the work is powerful, very powerful.
Transformative.
Yeah.
And we hold the space. So we do hold a feminine space for you to grow and learn and transform. That's
and I bring in a
really
bit
what it
of
is.
masculine energy. How about
Bring
that?
in a bit of masculine, just for good measure.
Yeah.
It's important.
And Michelle's got a lot of masculine in her as well.
I do. And he's got some feminine, so
Yeah.
it's quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. We're going to lead you out in a meditation.
Yes. So we do a nice centering meditation, although we don't have the week of work starting tomorrow. Hopefully we've all got the day off tomorrow. But it's still nice to end a cycle with Sunday night, and we bring in the energy of starting a new week, and we'll give you an affirmation for the week ahead, which you can use to transform those old patterns which you've held on to in your mind for too long. So at the end of the meditation, we'll open up the week's affirmation for you, which you can take with you.
Cool.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so just settle down, cozy in. Get yourself nice and cozy and comfortable, and take a beautiful, big, long, deep breath in. And a relaxing, releasing breath out. And make the out breath more important than the in breath. So let's breathe in for 4. And hold for a second, and then let it out for 6. And as you let your breath out, just start to feel your body relaxing and releasing. And physically, actually let your body relax. So on each out breath, breathing in and out, just release it all. Release all the tension in your shoulders, in your jaw, in your torso, in your neck. Imagine that there was a beautiful wave, ocean wave, moving through you, rippling right through you, and just allowing you to relax, release, to just be. Just notice the breath as it comes in, as it goes out. With each out breath, relax your body a little bit more, and you'll become more and more sensitive to where you're holding any tightness, any resistance. And as you notice that, breathe into that area and just relax it. And this is something you can do over and over throughout your day. Insert pauses into your day where you just stop for a minute, for 30 seconds, and just take 3 conscious breaths. The other thing you can do is just connect with your 5 senses, and that immediately brings you into the moment. So just connecting with what you can hear, full attention on what you can hear. Connecting with the air coming in through your nostrils, the temperature of the air, what you can smell as you breathe in, and then releasing the breath. Connecting with what you can see behind your eyes. beautiful gift of sight. And what you can feel in your body. And let's just take our awareness now to our hearts. And imagine you sitting inside your heart, in the very middle of you. And imagine lighting a little fire right in the center of your heart. A fire that you can tend with lots of care and kindness and attention. Blowing it a little bit. Feeding the fire, nourishing that little fire, till it grows into a beautiful warm place to be, a warm, safe place to be, right in the center of your heart, calling you home, providing a sanctuary within you. Coming home to yourself. Imagine just sitting there quietly, just being with yourself in the moment, completely relaxed, nurturing, caring and loving. Coming home to yourself. Giving yourself the love that you might be able to give others. Becoming the calm harbor for your beautiful soul to thrive. Asking yourself the question, am I a safe place to be? And then feeding into that beautiful fiery hearth, right in the middle of your heart. Feeding this intention to yourself. You can say it to yourself after I say it. No matter where I am home. The most sacred sanctuary is found within me. And just feel what that feels like in your body, in your being. Just being. And when you feel stressed, when you feel strung out, just overwhelmed, just know you can return to this place anytime. It's there inside you. We really do carry our home with us. Just reconnect with your breath. Quietly connect with your body. Feel how you feel in this moment. Give yourself a thank you for coming tonight, to being with us, spreading our light. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Well, there was a beautiful feminine meditation. Wasn't that wonderful? Did you enjoy that? So peaceful, so calm. So Michelle has that really soft feminine energy. And her masculine doing energy comes out in the website. So please take a look at our at our journeysofAwakening.com website, and that's all Michelle's doing. And she's not a web designer, but she's put a huge amount of doing into that website, and it really is beautiful. So take a look at journeysofAwakening.com. So before you go tonight, we'd like to draw an affirmation card for you to help guide you this week. I'm going to choose one.
That one. That's nice. I am peace and I radiate love into the world. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's
lovely.
the card. I am peace and I radiate love into the world. It's beautiful. I'll put that up. I'll put a photograph of that up on the Facebook page, and also we have a WhatsApp group going, journeysofAwakening.com WhatsApp group, and you can join. If you go to journeysofAwakening.com website, there's a little link, and I'll put a photograph of that up on the group as well.
Yeah, and these affirmations are lovely to say during the day. So just, even if you don't feel peaceful or loving, just say that, and it brings you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Affirmations are not necessarily true when you start saying them, but the more you say them, they become true for you. It's amazing, as you change your mind, the world changes towards you, and you attract those situations, circumstances to you to make that affirmation true. It's quite amazing how they work, affirmations, but you do have to use them. So thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks,
we really
everyone.
enjoy these satsangs, and we hope you do too. If you enjoyed tonight, just share this as well with your friends on Facebook, and let the light spread.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night on our
Hope so.
Zoom meeting.
Lots of love.